बाजूने घेऊ शकता ना.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये. नक्षत्रायेषु भद्रेषु युक्तं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. Here it is. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam here. Right now we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3, verse number 22. Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhakshitangam.
Pipilikaihi. Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalu jale nuksaha.
Kamandalu jale nuksha.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Dive namodaradasa.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalu jale nuksa.
Kamandalo jale nauksha.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalu jale nuksa.
Kamandalo jale nauksha.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalu jale nuksa.
Kamandalo jale nauksha.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Divye namogaradhasa. Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalo jale nuksha.
Kamandalo jale nuksa.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Divye namogaradhasa.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Shri Narada Uvacha.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Iti uktva vibhavo devo.
Bhaktirangam pipilikai.
Bhakshitangam pipilikai.
Kamandalo jale noksha.
Kamandalu jale nuksa.
Divye namo मोहाराधसा
दिव्ये नामोदराधसा श्रीनाथ उवाच श्रीनारद मुनि said इति thus उक्त्वा saying Adivavaha Lord Brahma the original living creature within this universe Devaha the principal demigod Bhakshitangam Hiranyakashipu's body which had been almost completely eaten
almost completed
Pipilikai by the ants
by the ants.
Kamandalu from the special water pot
From the special water pot
in the hands of Lord Brahma
in the hands of Lord Brahma.
Jalena by water
Water
Aukshat sprinkled Divyena which was spiritual not ordinary Amokha without pain Radhasa whose power Translation as proposed by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Translation Sri Narada Muni continued. After speaking these words to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma, the original being of this universe, who is extremely powerful, sprinkled transcendental, infallible, spiritual water from his kamandal upon Hiranyakashipu's body, which had been eaten away by ants and moths. Thus he enlivened Hiranyakashipu. But Lord Brahma is the first creature being within this universe and is empowered by the Supreme Lord to create. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai. The Adi Kavi or Adi Deva or Adi Kavi, the first living creature, was personally thought by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the heart. There was no one to teach me, but since the Lord is situated within Brahma's heart, Brahma was educated by the Lord himself. Lord Brahma, being especially empowered, is infallible in doing whatever he wants. This is the meaning of the word Amoga Radhasa. He desired to restore Hiranyakashipu's original body, and therefore, by sprinkling transcendental water from his water pot, he immediately did so. Can I repeat after me the translation? Sri Narada Muni continued.
Sri Narada Muni continued.
After speaking these words to Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma, the original being of this universe, was extremely powerful, sprinkled, transcendental, infallible, spiritual water from his kamandalu, from Hiranyakashipu's body, which had been eaten away by ants and moths. Thus he enlivened Hiranyakashipu. Om Ajnanatimandasya Gamandanashalakaya Chakshuram Plitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudhapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagaradatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Balan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Veshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratuse Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpararupesya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Before starting, I seek blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas and all the devotees present here, especially the Grace Sultan Prabhu, the Grace Prabhu, and all devotees, so that I can speak something for benefit and help in our Krishna consciousness and get purified. So we are in 7th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, and in this section that we are reading this verse, the chapter is Hiranyakashipu performs severe austerities. And this whole episode started, the 7th canto started with Lord Brahma killing Hiranyaksha, who is brother of Hiranyakashipu. And then Hiranyakashipu became very much aggrieved and obviously was envious of Lord Vishnu from before. But after Hiranyaksha was killed, Hiranyakashipu took a vow that he, like he will get a lot of powers and will destroy all the Brahmanical culture and Brahmanas and all the yajnas, sacrifices. And Hiranyakashipu did a lot of austerities here in this chapter. We see just few verses before we saw that Hiranyakashipu is standing on tip of his toe for 100 celestial years. So imagine what kind of austerity he has to just can't even stand 1 minute in the tip of toe. It's impossible. But Hiranyakashipu will start standing there, the tip of toe, I think right or left, I don't remember. But one of the shoes, he was standing for 1,000 celestial years. And I think one celestial years is, I think one day in the heavenly planets is 6 months in this earth, and 1 day and 1 night. Imagine what would be 100 celestial years. So in that 100 celestial years, Hiranyakashipu was standing there performing austerities just to please Lord Brahma so that he can get some benedictions out of it was not a pure motive to please Lord. It was just so that he can derive some benefit from Lord Brahma. So so much so that he wanted to become immortal, and he even wanted to kill Vishnu. So that was his motive. He was so envious of the Lord. So we see here, and we discussed also in the previous thing, that so much austerity Hiranyakashipu did, but the problem was his intent was wrong to do the austerities. His intent was to kill the Lord himself. So in our austerities also when we do, I think the intent in which we do, even in Krishna consciousness or whatever austerities we do, getting up early, reading Bhagavatam, chanting, sometimes we fast on Ekadashi days or festivals. So the intent should be very clear. There is only one intent, that we want to please the Lord. We don't have to show our supremacy, or we don't have to show when we read Bhagavatam, the intent is not that we gather knowledge and then speak and become famous speaker of Bhagavatam and everyone will applaud us. The intent is not that. The intent is very clear. When we fast in Ekadashi days, the intent is not to show that how much austere we are. The intent is very clear that we just want to please. If you want to show our love to the Lord. So the intent, if intent is clear, then it's just like when you are going from one place to place A to place B. So if you know the destination, then only you will reach that place. Correct, no? If that destination is not set, even though the place may be very near, you may just go roundabout and never reach that place. So unless we have that intent clear in our mind, to make progress in Krishna consciousness is difficult because we may get trapped in many so-called things which may think it as advancement. Right? That day when we're hearing lecture of Maharaj saying that the intent that our goal is to become as innocent as a child, have that faith in the Lord and serve the Lord, please his devotees. That is the intent. But here we see Hiranyakashipu also did a lot of austerities, but is not glorified for his austerities. Correct? No. Actually, we discussed that all this, even Lord Brahma agreed that all this austerity that Hiranyakashipu performed cannot be performed by even great yogis and rishis and munis. No one can do that kind of austerities. But here we see Hiranyakashipu did those austerities, but still he is not glorified for it. In fact, the bad examples we discuss of doing these austerities. Why? Because Hiranyakashipu did this austerities, his intent was not clear. His intent was to kill Lord. And Dhruva also did austerities, but he was doing under the guidance of Narada Muni, and he took a sincere path of following, and then he got what he wanted, but he was purified also. So even Prabhupada compares like the Hiranyakashipu tendency to become immortal. He says that even scientists of today's world, they are also many Hiranyakashipu doing a lot of austerities and research and so many things. Why? To become, and actually people do correct. Even if you see in all universities there are labs like aging research labs. Specifically, their aim is to how to become immortal. I've seen. Correct. In all this university, I've seen aging research, anti-aging labs. Like so many labs are there, and their aim is how to become immortal. Basically, they want to research through material means and become immortal. So all these are like tendencies from Prabhupada, many Hiranyakashipu tendencies to become immortal without God. They don't want God. They want to remove God from picture and on their own strength become immortal or whatever, gain powers and all. So anyways, so it's not possible. Science manipulates the laws only on material platform, on material level. The yogis are better, like Hiranyakashipu and all. So they are at least manipulating laws in subtle level. Correct? Just like science, if you want to go from one place to place, we will need aeroplane. The yogis don't need, because they're strictly manipulating the laws of material nature. They can change form. So they are above the laws, basically. We are still within the laws. Newton's laws of physics and whatever, correct? No? So we are within the laws and we're somehow trying to manipulate it with our power, but it's not possible. So here we see Hiranyakashipu, he did a lot of austerities, and now pleased by the austerities of Hiranyakashipu, in these verses we have seen that Lord Brahma has appeared himself, and he is so called pleased with the austerities of Hiranyakashipu. And in this verse, in the just previous verse, Lord Brahma has come, and then in this verse, we see that how Lord Brahma sprinkled the waters and then revived Hiranyakashipu's body. Actually, Hiranyakashipu's body had become completely, it was just bones, just like bones standing. It was completely eaten by ants and moths. And practically, it's impossible. Just how he was sustaining his life here within the bones. But here Lord Brahma has come, and then later we'll see that how Lord restored his body to youthful, energetic, lustrous body, which could even be a thunderbolt that is described. So, so here we see that Lord Brahma is compelled to come by the austerities of Hiranyakashipu. Actually, the demigods sometimes they don't have anything like we have seen in pages of Bhagavatam. Many times demigods, even if they don't want, because the austerities like Ravana or discussed Vikasura or Hiranyakashipu, so the demigods are forced to give benedictions because you do something and you have to get something for it. It's like transaction, business transaction. Just like if a child is there and this child, he goes to a shopkeeper and or goes to some superstore market or supermarket, and then he gives money, some dollars in store, and he gets a cigarette. You give money, you get a cigarette. It's like as a business transaction, correct? No, but I imagine the same child going to his father and giving $10 and saying, "Father, give me cigarette." What he will get? Big slap. Correct, no? So that is the difference between demigods and the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord is like a father. If it's not good for you, you won't get it unless you qualify yourself. Correct. No? So he knows. But the demigods are not like that. The demigods are forced to give. It's like Rikasura, he did austerities last year. He am forced to give. So Vishnu would have never given. Correct, no? Vishnu would have never given up. Even in fact, later when Narasimhadev kills Hiranyakashipu, Vishnu chastises Brahma that why did you give such kind of benediction to Hiranyakashipu? So, but they are like helpless. They have to give, like a business thing. So, actually, demigods also, they have two sides. So, when any person approaches them with some material motive, they give them what they want. So that is called Sarvapat Kripa. With it is not actually mercy. It appears to be like a mercy that the demigod is pleased and the worshipper is getting whatever they want. But that is actually cheating. They have just cheated because you only want that. No cheaters and cheated. You want, so you are given what you want, but that is not the real mercy. The actual mercy of demigods is when actually you are sincere in heart and your intent is clear and purpose is clear. They give and show you direction towards the Supreme Lord. That is the actual mercy. So that is called Nishkapat Kripa. So there is Sarkapat Kripa of the demigods and there is Nishkapat Kripa of the demigods. Nishkapat means they give what you want, but it may be harmful for you. You won't benefit. You think that you are benefiting, but it will be harmful for you. But Nishkapat Kripa is when actually you are sincere. The demigods actually show you way themselves for the Supreme Lord. So many examples of this actually. Where the demigods themselves have shown the direction to their worshippers to go to Lord Vishnu. In fact, it is said that even Lord Shiva, when is pleased with the austerities, or his devotees is very much pleased by the sincerity. He himself comes and chants the name of Lord Ram in their ears. And we see also there's there, and we also see many such examples, just like you might have heard of Narsingha Mehta in Gujarat. So he was worshipper of Lord Shiva. So he was, once Lord Shiva came in front of him and he asked, and he said, "What do you want?" And Narasimha Mehta said that I want what is most dear to you. And then Lord Shiva, he showed, I think, him glimpse of spiritual world. Basically, he directed him to worship of Krishna. So the demigods actually, when they're really pleased, that is, they actually give and show you way to the Supreme Lord. Another example is even Bhagavatam, I think, Prachetas, when they were doing austerities, Lord Shiva came. Lord Shiva came and he sang the song of Lord Shiva chapter, in which he glorifies the Supreme Lord and he directs them to worship of Supreme Lord. And also there is example of Chandidas. So this Chandidas, he was a great worshipper of Lord Kali, Chandi. Name was Chandidas. Correct. So he was so much great worshipper, and even today in Bengal, the songs that he composed as glorification of Lord Kali are sung. What is what is Kali? Lord Kali. Oh, God is Kali. Yeah, God is Kali. Yeah. Um, worship. So he used to. There's some many songs like Nande, Kumde, whatever. All these things. All basically songs are just to get something from Kali. And so this Chandidas, his brother, he was a Vaishnava and was very poor. And Chandidas was very rich. He had big palace, big garden, a lot of flowers blooming in his garden. And brother was very poor Vaishnava, worshipping Saligram Shila. And he was so poor that he didn't even have flowers to offer to Saligram. And his brother, seeing the big garden of this Chandidas material, see, he got desire that why I should offer these flowers to my Saligram deities. And even he mentally offered that flower, like those flowers, he used to mentally offer. Well, he could not take, I don't know what was the dynamics, but he mentally offered the flowers to Saligram one day. He was very much um, captivated by these flowers. One day he offered mentally. And the Chandidas, he took that mentally offered a flower and offered to Kali. And Kali was so pleased. She came in front of Chandidas. And Chandidas asked Kali, Maria Kali, offer flowers and I do all the same worship every day. But what is so special today that you have appeared? And then Kali explained that actually offered the flower which was offered to my Ishtadev, Shaligram. So Lord Vishnu did the offer to Krishna, and I was so pleased that he offered the flower which is offered to Lord Vishnu or Krishna or Shaligram, and therefore I have appeared. And then Chandida was completely amazed because he never had any conception of who is supreme. He used to think that Chandi is supreme, Kali is supreme, and Shaligram and Vishnu. He never had any conception. And then he asked that who is supreme? I thought you are the supreme till now. I used to worship you with full, my heart and all. And then he said that why didn't you tell me before that Shaligram is your worshipable object and like that. So then Kali said that you didn't ask me or something like that. He said that you should have asked me or something. Um, but the point here is, then he understood that actually, when his Ishtadev, Kali, is pleased when he worships Krishna. Correct. So then he said that from today onwards, I will worship Shaligram Shiva. And Kali said that, yes, I am very happy. I am more happy when you worship Krishna than when you worship me. So actually, all the demigods, sometimes people fear, if I take to worship of Krishna or Vishnu, so what will happen? I have been worshipping all the demigods my entire life, and I have, sometimes we have for generations together, worshipping some demigod and all. So people fear, actually, literally fear what to do of, the deities and the demigods and all. But actually, when one takes to worship of Krishna, the demigods are pleased. They are much more pleased than what they please they'll be by worshipping, by you worshipping them. Correct, no? Another example comes in Bhagavatam of Bharat Maharaj. I think you have heard the Bharat Maharaj story. And Bharat Maharaj was taken by the dacoits and just about to be sacrificed. And he was a great devotee of Lord. So the Kali deity itself busted and came out and killed her own worshippers. Her own devotees she killed for Bharat Maharaj because Bharat Maharaj was a devotee of the Lord. So they were going to kill Bharat Maharaj, but Kali came and killed her devotees, her worshippers only. Why? Because for any demigod, worshipper of Vishnu or devotees of God, they are much more dear. Because actually, um, the worshippers of demigods, Krishna says that they are less intelligent. They come to them for some material benefits which are temporary, which which are just taken away. But when one worships Lord, actually one gets the real benefit. So like that, there are many things, many pastimes in which we see that how the supreme, like how the demigods themselves showed the way to the Lord. And actually, the demigod position is, just to give a very crude example, just like if one worships demigods as the supreme Lord, actually they don't like it. They don't, it's not that they are happy to, take a worship. But people sometimes in India don't have conception, they think that everyone is God and they worship as God. But actually they are not happy. Just like if it's like a false glorification. So it's just like that it's like sometimes mockery. If I come to Sabri, you are, the Prime Minister of United States. You are, in that position. I feel that Harry is making joke of me. Correct, Well, he is not. He is not in that position. He is not a truth also. Correct. So demigods, if you worship them as the supreme Lord, actually it's like embarrassing thing for them. They don't like it. It's not that they are becoming happy. It's actually embarrassing thing for them. But they are happy, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, no? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Sakele Sammana Korite Sakati Deho Nathayatha. Whatever one's position is, give me strength to worship them in or respect them in that their position. So the demigod's position is very clear. The demigods are the servants of the Lord. Correct. Just like servants of the Lord are more happy when we worship their master. There is the thing. Not worship them. Correct. No? Just like go to Hanuman and worship him, versus go to Lord Ram. Hanuman will be more happy if you're worshipping Lord Ram. Because he himself is worshipping Lord Ram. Correct. No? He won't be happy saying that he has come to me and it might do. No. He will direct you to worship of Lord Ram. So you're more happy when you worship the Supreme Lord himself. Um, yeah, I think we're out of time, so I'll just stop here if anyone has any questions or comments.
Should we worship the spiritual master? We have Aarti, we worship the glorification, we do that. So,
Prabhupada said that a spiritual master takes the worship as a representative of pure and offer the same respect to the Lord. So it's not that he is taking our worship. We are showing our love to the Lord through the spiritual master.
so then can we worship demigods also? The same.
Demigods,
They're also devotees.
if you have a clear understanding, it's not that we like disregard demigods or disrespect demigod that oh, I don't go to temple. Or sometimes demigod even devotees offer respects to demigods. Even in sometimes in temples, even in ISKCON temples, there are idols of Ganesh when you enter the temple and all. But the whole conception is the position should be very clear. The position of demigods, the position of Krishna, and Supreme Lord should be very clear. So we are grateful to demigods, we respect them, but worship is to Krishna. It's not that we are regarding them. And sometimes when we can be grateful, sometimes the demigods can show the way, just like Lord Shiva showed the way. So when we are grateful, they can be as the Lord Shiva is the Guru in that sense. Vaishnava Metha Shambhu. He became Guru of someone. So and when we see like gopis worshipping Kartani. But for what? To get Krishna. Right? So our we are more concerned with developing love for Lord. And the demigods, if our position is clear in this thing, that they are not the Supreme Lord, so we can show them respect, honor, not a worship, but it's not that we stop chanting Hare Krishna and we chant some other mantras, not like that.
Can we then keep in the altar, like somebody is keeping an altar on Ganesha and other demigods? And he said, I see the Krishna's servants and I'll continue worshipping. Is that okay? What should we not have?
In altar, I mean, like we can,
Or say Ganesh Chaturthi happens, so we can also offer worship. We can also in the altar and so I'm asking from that perspective. So can it be done or
actually,
because we also offer worship to Guru on the Vyas Puja. Same way other so many demigods are there. So we can also offer worship. Is that fine? What the understanding?
yeah. So I think worshipping definitely offer worship to Guru. But demigods, no, there are so many demigods. There's 33 million demigods. We just trapped in the worship of demigods. So actually, the highest standard is like when one worships Krishna, the demigods are pleased. So we don't have to separately worship each and every demigod. Just like if you water the root of the tree, all the branches, twigs, leaves, fruits, everyone gets nourished. So we are offering the water to the root, and the Guru is the one, we are offering our respects to Guru. And yes, from Guru, we are offering to Krishna only. So one source is sufficient. And we don't have to separately worship, put water to all the leaves and twigs and branches. And so once we worship Krishna, and worshiping Krishna is like Yatha Deva Tatha Guru. Through Guru, Saguru Neva Pagachet, Krishna says that you have to worship me through Guru. Correct. No, so if you are doing that, then you don't have to separately endeavor to worship and show respects to all the demons. Not show respect, but I mean, like, yeah, separately doing endeavor to.
Who tells me all the
The most important austerity for us is preaching, and because every like a kind of natural disaster, like the rescue workers go and they work for days or months, hardly sleeping at all, because they know people are desperately in need of help. And they're dying left and right. Always, so they do like really big austerities to help the people. And so in the material world, everyone is in a desperate condition. It's always a desperate situation. Everyone is suffering. Everyone is dying. Everyone is going to hell. Everyone is in misery. Yeah, so austerity, the book distribution, and any kind of preaching, maintaining the temple, just to help maintain the temple is it's not that difficult, but it's required. There's a lot of sacrifice involved in living in the temple and taking care of the temple and helping in the preaching, directly or indirectly. That temple.
Antara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.